Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Stephanie Stewart. I'm the Vice President for Communications and External Affairs here at Parkland College, and it's my pleasure to introduce you to the CobraVenture Pitch Competition 2020. And as you may notice, we're wearing masks and doing this event this evening in a hybrid format. And so we have our wonderful students in front of us at their own tables. We've got our judges doing the same thing, but then we have our audience at home. And we thank you very much for tuning into this really incredible event for our students, an opportunity to hear about new businesses that are Parkland grown that will be functioning in our community, and to just celebrate the accomplishment of these students within perhaps the most challenging year possible that we all know very, very well. So this evening, we really want to showcase the importance of entrepreneurship and among all of the different diverse programs offered here at Parkland College. So you'll hear lots of different business ideas. All of our students are not necessarily business students. They're coming from different programs, and we love that diversity. And you'll also notice that our students are thinking about how to grow their businesses, perhaps in the climate of COVID-19. And so you'll hear some themes of that as well this evening. And so I'd like to just say thank you on behalf of the administration, our Board of Trustees, and Parkland College in general. I also wanted to mention that later this evening, as part of the pitch competition, not only will we award prizes, but we will also be naming our Student Entrepreneur of the Year for Parkland College, which is very exciting. This is the second time we've ever given out this distinction. And our executive director of the foundation will share a little bit more about what that means. But we're really excited to be able to do this. Something else I wanted to share this evening is that CobraVenture is part of a network of entrepreneurial programming here at Parkland College as part of the Parkland Entrepreneurial Network. And so we have a series of other programs as well that are part of our Penn network, and you can learn about those on our website as well. I would like to first introduce our judges as well. We have Julie Wisher, who is our department chair for Fine and Applied Arts, as well as one of our professors. Thank you. We have Dan Marker from Hickory Point Bank, Carly McCrory, executive director of the Champaign County Economic Development Corporation, and we have Marissa Sierro from the Geese College of Business at the University of Illinois. So we have their expertise at the table. They'll be listening, like all of you at home, and they will help us to score and select our Student Entrepreneur of the Year and help us award a series of other prizes as well. I also wanted to thank our CobraVenture advisory team. As you can imagine, putting this together was a little bit more complex this year than last year or even any other year before. So I really want to thank our advisory team for all of their hard work and planning. They're coming from multiple different areas across the college, and it's taken a lot to get here this evening, so thank you. I also want to thank our community advisory group. This is a slightly larger group involving Parkland folks as well as individuals in the community who are really committed to entrepreneurship and have really contributed to the programming that we've been able to develop here at the college. I want to thank Chris Foster and Michael Coulter at Parkland College TV. You are tuning in on a feed that they have connected for us this evening, and we're just really grateful for them. They do great work for the college and showcasing all of our programs. And once again, Chris and Michael, you guys have delivered. Also, Luther for helping us get all of our AV equipment set up this evening. Thank you, truly. And I also want to give a plug to the Parkland Presentation Center. The Presentation Center has been a partner of CobraVenture since the beginning and assists students not just in the program, but as well as across the college in preparing presentations for any occasion, but in their courses or professional experiences as well. So thank you. So with that, I will close and I will introduce Tracy Walfeld, the Executive Director of the Parkland Foundation. Thank you.
Got to make sure everything's sanitized. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. On behalf of the foundation, and I really would like to thank our foundation board members. It takes a team of people to raise money, to manage that money so that programs like this can continue. So I would really like to thank the foundation board. A little bit about how did we get here tonight? So the Entrepreneurial Founders Program was established with Parkland College Foundation to develop, facilitate, and promote entrepreneurship at Parkland College. The founders, Cozette Asset Management, David Eads, Donald C. Dodds Jr., the Meyer Charitable Foundation, Peter Fox, Chuck Keeling, Roy Lambert, TSM Ventures and the Stewart family, and Murray Wise and Associates contributed the initial capital to establish the entrepreneurial program. A big thank you to those founders for their foresight and generosity in creating this fund. This fund has grown thanks to additional contributions and from sponsors of the Entrepreneur of the Year banquet. This fund provides program support and scholarships to students in Parkland's ag programs, Applied Media Promotions, or AMP, Perimeter Road, and of course, CobraVenture. Since its inception, the Entrepreneurial Founders Program has provided over $56,000 in scholarships and over $56,000 in program funds. With additional support from Murray Wise and Associates, funding was provided for the development of the Cobra Pitch Competition and the Murray Wise Associates Student Entrepreneur of the Year in 2019. This year's CobraVenture Pitch Competition has even more sponsors and prizes. A total of $7,000 in cash will be awarded tonight. Yes, $7,000 will be awarded tonight. So big thank you to this year's award sponsors, Murray Wise and Associates, Busey Bank, Ram Clean Cleaning Services, Shaw's Premier Printing, and It's a Wrap Automotive. And we are also providing a special mentoring opportunity from the Geese School of Business. Now I'd like to introduce Mark Chagnon, the Entrepreneurship Coordinator, to tell you more about the program and tonight's competition. Mark?
Get to do a little housekeeping and make sure we are all sanitized tonight. Students, don't forget to do this, okay? Tonight marks the end of a journey for our second CobraVenture student cohort. We have 7 students that will give a 5-minute pitch of their business idea. But before we begin, I want to share with you how we got to this point. Starting a year ago, during the months of September and October, the CobraVenture cohort application was posted, open to all students on the campus, and due by the end of October. Once applications were received, the CobraVenture Community Advisory Committee, which Stephanie mentioned, it totals about 22 people of entrepreneurs in this community, Parkland staff, and just interested citizens in this program, who met to review all of the applications, and from those applications select the top 10 to 12 student business ideas for the spring cohort. The goal for each student was to build their business plan through a series of workshops starting in January and ending with a pitch showcase in May of 2020. COVID-19 threw all of us a curveball. And we finished our 4th workshop in mid-March, and then the doors were closed. Of the students that started last January, 7 of those students stuck with me. And in August, when we offered them the opportunity to finish the workshops and conclude the pitch showcase this fall, they all said, "I'm in." Our CobraVenture students received no college credit for their participation in this program, but they get an incredible opportunity to learn about every phase of building a successful business plan. Through our workshops, our students get to hear from a number of community members who generously give their business knowledge to our students. I would now like to thank the following individuals who graciously served as workshop speakers. Don Elmore, Director of the Illinois Small Business Development Center. Stephanie Pittsnoggle, Business Specialist, Champaign Public Library. Darwin Boston, State Farm Agent in Mahomet, Illinois. Ken Taylor, Software Engineer and Entrepreneur at the University of Illinois. Brett Shaw, owner of Shaw Premier Painting and Drywalling in Champaign. Scott Clannon, owner of Clannon Marketing in Champaign. Annie Murray Easterday, co-owner of Pear Tree Estates. Kyle Lemkes, attorney at law in Champaign, Illinois. Max Stutzman, Naso Genos, and Goward Baldwin, all with Busey Bank. Jody Littleton, Speech Communications Instructor at Parkland College. Samantha Beer, Accounting Instructor at Parkland College. And of course, our very own Mark Kessler, Business Instructor, Entrepreneur, and the man that has all the answers. Thank you all for your willingness to help our students in such a wonderful way. Now, I'd like to explain the procedure that we will follow for this evening. Each student will present their business idea with a pitch that is limited to 5 minutes. All this work in 5 minutes. After each student completes their pitch, judges will give you a few minutes to ask any clarifying questions you might have of each presenter. If you have none, we'll move on to the next presenter. If you do, ask the question, and I will try to say it out loud on the microphone so everybody can hear it. Once the judges are done with their clarifying questions, we'll move on to the next student. Following the business pitches of all 7 students, we will dismiss the judges to tabulate their scores in another room and come back with their results. Once they complete those results, Tracy Walfelt will come back to the podium as the Parkland College Foundation Executive Director, and she will award to all of you students the necessary awards for tonight based on what you've earned. So, with nothing else to say except let's get this ball rolling. The students are presenting tonight based on their names being pulled out of a hat or whatever we had. And this way we think it's fair, and this way nobody got first or second or whatever. It's all been pulled. So now let's hear from our first presenter. This is Scott Moczynski and his business, Classic EV Conversions. Scott.
Good evening, my name is Scott Moczynski, and I want to talk to you a little bit about Classic EV Conversions. At Classic EV Conversions, I like to say that we're driving the past into the future. There are currently approximately 5 million vehicles registered in the United States that are categorized as classic or collectible or antique. This means that the vehicles are at least 20 years old. I personally own a 67 Riviera, a 70 Grand Prix, and my daily driver is a 1979 Firebird, which you may have seen parked at Myers or going down the road. But I'm the rare exception. Most of these classic vehicles sit in garages all year long, maybe being taken out once on a Sunday for a drive or maybe to a local car show. The vast majority just sit in the garage rotting away. However, the drivers, the owners, are still driving vehicles. They're driving around. They're just not driving their classic vehicles. Some people may say, well, these cars are too valuable just to be driven around at any time on a daily basis, but that's not the case. The insurance industry lists the average value of one of these vehicles to be between $20,000 and $30,000, whereas the average price of a new car in 2020 is $36,000. The reason people aren't using these as daily drivers are because it's not viable, because, number one, gas is too expensive for these gas-guzzling vehicles that tend to get 10 to 15 miles to the gallon. If something goes wrong, or even for daily maintenance or yearly maintenance like an oil change, it's impossible to find anyone to work on these vehicles. And these classic vehicles don't have the modern conveniences or safety features, performance or reliability of today's vehicles. My company, Classic EV Conversions, takes the engine and the transmission out of these classic vehicles because electric vehicles don't need a transmission, so there's even fewer things to go wrong with it, and replaces it with a total electronic system. Systems that are well designed and well developed and are in pretty much mass production today. Converting these vehicles from gas to electric allows the owners to drive their vehicles anywhere they want, at any time they want, without having to worry about gas prices or reliability or something breaking, all the while affording them the modern conveniences of today's vehicles, the safety features, the performance, and the reliability. For people who are specifically performance-minded, an electric vehicle of any kind today vastly exceeds the performance of any gas-powered production vehicle on the roads. There's another problem that classic vehicle owners such as myself have, and that is our average age is 56 years old. I'm 56 years old. After we're gone, no one is going to want these vehicles. The museums are full, and people tend to appreciate the vehicles from their youth, just as we appreciate the vehicles from our youth, these now classic vehicles. Converting a vehicle from gas to electric can help spread the appeal or raise the appeal of these classic vehicles to younger generations. If you can imagine, if you're a current car buyer, new car buyer, you have the opportunity to own a unique, if not one-of-a-kind vehicle that offers all the modern conveniences, all the modern safety features, all the performance, and all the reliability of today's vehicles. The infrastructure for classic EV conversions is really in place and is growing every day. There's charging stations growing all around, popping up all around, including here on Parkland's campus. The electric engine industry, there's companies that are already producing and manufacturing engines to replace internal combustion engines. In fact, Chevy announced that next year they are going to be selling an engine to the public that anyone can buy for installation into their own personal vehicles, regardless of what kind of vehicle they have. The business model is viable. All this can be done. A car can be converted easily for the $36,000 price tag of an average car. You can go out and buy an electric vehicle now for right around that price or even less. EV West, which is a company out in California, has been doing gas to electric conversions for a couple of years now, and they're wildly successful. They've got more business they can even handle. And the nice thing about getting into this business is that it's relatively new. There's not many companies out there doing that. And what that means is that there's more compatibility and cooperation and collaboration than there is competition. There's enough business for everybody. Electric vehicles are here to stay. Okay. Is that the countdown, or is that I'm done? Okay. Okay. Any questions? The size of the market is potentially the 5 million people who own classic vehicles, but that's going to expand because as time goes on, more vehicles will get older. And it doesn't have to be, my business doesn't have to be restricted to classic vehicles. Anybody who has any kind of gas-powered car of any year can have it converted to electric. Mm-hmm. Both. If somebody, the business can be set up to be just a supplier of these, if people want to do it on their own at home in their garage, or if they want a full conversion, we can do that as well. Mm-hmm. Anything else? Yep.
Okay, our next presenter is Jacob Conity and his business Conity Custom Carpentry. Jacob.
Good evening. My name is Jacob Conity and my business is Conity's Custom Carpentry. My business is located in the small town of Leroy, Illinois. The focus of my business is building custom furniture for people all throughout central Illinois. Have you ever been searching for a piece of furniture and you just couldn't find something that was the right size or quality? After spending a lot of time looking for that special piece, many people just give up and end up getting something that isn't quite what they had imagined. Through my business, I will seek to answer that question, and I will listen to what you want for your home or office, and then custom design and build that item with quality and customer satisfaction as my number one goals. Growing up, I enjoyed to be in the outdoors, and much of each summer I spent on my grandparents' farm building things with my grandpa. My grandpa bought a small sawmill, and that became his winter hobby, and he began cutting lumber for his own woodworking projects. This led to him building numerous pieces of furniture around his home, and working with my grandfather grew into a passion. The skills I gained allowed me to get a job at Leroy High School in the technology department as an assistant. I was tasked with designing and building Chromebook charging stations for each classroom in the whole district. During this process, I really grew to appreciate the finished side of carpentry, and each cabinet turned out better than the last. This made me think, what if I could do this all day, every day, and make a living out of it? My target demographic are people with extra disposable income who appreciate custom, high-quality furniture. My market is fairly large, and living in Leroy, between two larger metropolitan areas of Bloomington, Normal, and Champaign-Urbana, there is a large pool of potential customers. I have large growth opportunities, and given that there are very few companies that do what I do, I will have an advantage over big box stores because I can offer what places like that can't, and that is customization. My business is unique because I am able to produce some raw lumber myself with my grandfather's sawmill. This allows me to keep production costs low while utilizing locally sourced timber. This allows me to choose from the highest quality lumber, and every piece that leaves my shop is unique and handcrafted by me. This allows me to make sure that everything is exactly the way a customer requests and is of the highest quality. With every project being completely custom, prices will vary project to project. Based on many factors like the type of lumber used, the complexity of the project, the type of finish, and the size of the project will affect the price. I will charge for materials based on actual cost or industry standards plus my time at a rate of $25 per hour. As my business grows, I'll need to reevaluate my hourly rate based on demand and the growth of my knowledge and skills. I'll use social media platforms such as Instagram and Facebook to start marketing my business in order to keep costs low. I'll be able to post current projects and use these platforms to show off the kind of work that I've done in the past. And I can use them to share testimonials from my clients. In addition, networking with complementary businesses such as remodelers and interior designers will allow me to find customers that could benefit from my services. I've been honing my woodworking craft for a couple of years now and have built a home-based shop over that time. I am passionate about the products I've built and will build in the future. This gives me an advantage over big box stores. Each piece is made with pride and is not just another piece off of an assembly line. As my business grows, I'd like to move my business to a new location. I would need a shop that is at least 24 feet by 24 feet in order to house my necessary tools and equipment. Over the next 3 years, I'll be continuing my formal education and primarily doing my business on the weekend in order to build capital to grow my business while still attending school. In 5 years, I hope for my expansions to grow to account for 50% of my income. And as my business grows, I would like to do custom sawmilling for people. They say when you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, and I believe that is true. Thank you for your time and allowing me to share my business goals and aspirations today. I've sold, I think, 4 or 5, and the average price is probably close to $100. It really depends, but because every piece is different. I mean, I've built a couple side tables. That's probably the most popular. People they see something and they want it, next to their couch, or something that is put into a corner that's maybe an awkward shape. That's kind of popular, but there's no one piece that's requested more than others, really. It's anything.
I'd like to applaud you for your desire to continue to grow your business while in school. So I just want to commend you on your 5-year plan, or your plan as you continue to grow and develop as a person, but also continue to expand your business. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
You're a tall guy, Jake. I don't think Polly's that tall. Okay, our next presenter is Polly Reynolds, and her business is Paulas, LLC. Polly.
Hi, my name is Pauly Reynolds, and I am the owner of Paulas LLC. That's P-A-W-L-Y-S. Pauly's Professional Pet Stylist Salon. Through my business, I will change the world of pet grooming, and here is how and why. I haven't always wanted to be a pet groomer. My childhood dream was to become a veterinarian for large and small animals and open my own practice. Growing up, there was no question that I was going to be an entrepreneur. I have a passion for it. When I was 8 years old, my dad started his own crop dusting business that utilizes helicopters, serving customers throughout East Central Illinois. My dad passed away in 2014, and my mom and sisters have since taken over the business, and it still thrives today. As for myself, I was not interested in helicopters or crops. My love and passion is working with animals. I want to spend the rest of my life taking care of animals and doing all I can to help them and make them healthy and happy. In my senior year of high school, I changed my mind about pursuing a career as a veterinarian and instead decided to enroll in a dog grooming trade school. 3 days after my high school graduation, I started the dog grooming trade school and found I loved pet grooming. I realized I was able to combine all of my passions into one, utilizing my creativity, my love of animals, and my interest in owning my own business. I cannot imagine anything better. The day I graduated from trade school, I was hired and started working for that business, grooming dogs and helping other students. After working there for a year, I decided I was ready to start my own pet styling salon, opening a salon in our barn next to our house. I wasn't quite sure how to proceed. All I knew is that in order for this business to succeed, I needed to start building a client list and a reputation for quality work at a fair price. This is the point when Parkland College CobraVenture Program fell into my hands. After applying for and being accepted into the CobraVenture Program, our cohort of 9 students started a series of workshops focused helping each one of us better understand the components of a business plan and actually assist us in building our own business plan. When we started in January 2020, I had 3 clients bringing their dogs to me for grooming. Today, 9 months later, I have over 130 clients. And I keep growing my business, and I hope to give back to the future CobraVenture participants. My business would not be where it is today without the CobraVenture program. I have a passion for my pet grooming business, but in January I didn't understand just exactly what it takes to be successful. In the Mahomet area, there were a number of dog grooming businesses, which were established and had a number of years in operation. I had to answer the question, what makes my business unique? In addition, I needed to establish a name and a brand that would become my business brand. As a dog owner myself of a beautiful Havanese girl, I understand the worries people have when taking their dog to a new groomer. My dog hated going to the groomer, even if she had been there multiple times. I felt like I had tried everything possible and yet still couldn't find a dog groomer she enjoyed, shaking and crying every time I took her. At Pauly's, you'll never have to worry. Your dog is in good hands. Every dog will be made feel completely comfortable and cared for with one-on-one grooming attention. and even have fun playing with their furry friends. My goal is to create an environment that is one where your dog will be excited and not scared to go to Pauly's. Instead, when you arrive with your dog, they will rush to the door and get excited about the visit. To this day, this strategy has never failed. Every dog that comes back runs straight to my salon door and gets excited to see their other furry friends. There's a huge demand for dog groomers, especially for good ones who don't see your dog as a way to make money, but instead see your dog as a soul who just needs to be made beautiful. In the last couple months, the Mahomet area has lost many of the dog grooming businesses due to a number of different reasons. Due to this, many of the clients have been referred to Pauly's, and the word is spreading fast. They say timing is everything, and I became a huge believer in that phrase. Every customer I now have has been extremely satisfied, and I am proud to say I have not yet received one negative review. My future plans for my business, in addition to continuing to grow Pauly's Pet Grooming Salon in the Mahomet area, I want to open other Pauly's grooming salons in Illinois and eventually create Pet Stylist Academy, where I will train and hire the best groomers to run my additional Pauly's salons. When folks in the area of Illinois think of pet grooming, I want Pauly's to be the very first thought that comes to their mind. Your pet is like a family member. They deserve, and so do you, a quality pet groomer that delivers a quality product with compassion and for a fair price. I look forward to seeing you and your pup at Pauly's Pet Style Salon for a treat of a lifetime.
Polly, congratulations. I mean, to grow your business from 3 to 130 in such a short amount of time is just incredible growth. And the way that you did it, word of mouth marketing, is the best type of marketing that you could ever ask for.
Thank you.
As you expand, have you thought about the employees that you hire? You know, you obviously have a passion for this, and you can tell by the way that you speak about it. As you hire new employees, it's important that they have that same passion that you have. Correct. Because they need to make sure that it comes across to your clients the same way that it does with you. And so keep that in mind as you're expanding, that you find the right people to help grow your business.
Absolutely.
Great job.
Thank you.
Great job. So kind of as Dan mentioned, you've been able to rely on a lot of word of mouth marketing, but what are some of your marketing plans moving forward now that you've become more established and probably have some additional revenue to help with some marketing in the future?
Absolutely. So for the first 75, 80 customers, they all connected, all the customers connected, and it was word of mouth. Luckily, I was able to also get a Wixie commercial, and that helped me get about 5 more customers from the Champaign area. And then they started talking to other people, which brought in another word of mouth marketing strategy. And then I have a social media platform on Instagram and Facebook at Pauly's LLC. And I started to do advertisements on there, and that brought in a whole nother level from Arthur, Peoria, Bloomington, Champaign, and even from Hayworth and Clinton, a whole radius. So in the future, I hope to eventually maybe get some commercials out on TV. But I believe that the most effective marketing strategy I've found so far is through social media. So I only do Instagram and Facebook as of right now. Maybe there are other social media platforms out there that I could possibly get into.
Great, thanks. Nice job.
Very good, Polly. Appreciate it. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Our next presenter, Corey Liam McKellar. I always say that wrong, Corey, and I apologize. And his business, Sweet Hive. Corey.
Last names are always tricky, right? At least when they got consonants like that. Anyway, hi. My name is Corey Liam, and I am the founder and owner of Sweet Hive Syrup. What we do is pretty simple. We create high-quality, handcrafted syrups for coffee while contributing to the rehabilitation of the rapidly declining bee population in the world. Now, I'll actually get more to that later, but for now, what's really important to take is that I currently operate out of a small coffee shop here in town, where I produce for them 5 primary syrups for coffee: vanilla, caramel, hazelnut, chocolate, and white chocolate. It's also important to note that we have a fiscal year goal by the end of 2021 to have procured 5 more wholesale clients. Also to have a business to customer line as well. Now, a little bit about me. I have been in coffee for about 10 years. I'm bald, so I'm a little older than I look, you know. But I've been in for about 10 years, started in corporate coffee, and kind of went from corporate to smaller shops and so on and so forth. But something that stuck out to me as I drink these vanilla lattes, these caramel lattes, is that they're always very generic tasting and synthetic. And I never liked that. And I also don't like looking at a label and being reminded of chemistry class in high school where I don't like putting that in my body. So that paired with my creativity in the kitchen, I wanted to create that myself when I occasionally want that beverage. Well, I did, and I got some recipes online and some real ingredients, and dare I say I made a better product than anything I tried thus far. And I was pretty satisfied with that. I made that for a few weeks and really enjoyed it, but I had a problem. It was really expensive. It was burning a hole in my pocket. And, you know, when I discovered why, it kind of became clear. The vanilla bean itself is incredibly expensive. Right now, if you were to purchase one, on average, they're about $12.93 for one pot. So I thought, you know, I'll make that as a sweet treat every now and then for my friends or my family or whatever. And I'd put that away. And I also had this idea that if I ever had a coffee shop, or if I ever had an opportunity like this, then I would take it, and that's the type of thing I would want to serve my customers, to know that they're getting something good and real. And so I stored that away in my brain. And I actually got that opportunity about 3 years ago. When I first moved here, actually, I boldly convinced the owner of this coffee shop to try my syrups out and to throw it on his line. Well, he said yes after he tried the syrups. And to our surprise, and I'll be honest, even mine, we did really well with them. In 2 years' time, those 5 syrups that I mentioned earlier gross revenue, $13,000 alone, just in syrups, not the coffee, while only spending about $4,000 in expenses. Now, that was fantastic. Now, I think it's actually more important I talk about the bees at this point, because it's like I said earlier, I'll get to that later. It's arguably the more important reason I'm before you today. The Environmental Protection Agency estimates by the year 2100, and surprise, it's only 80 years from now, estimates that the bee population will be reduced by 50% globally by either extinction or endangerment. Now, besides that being an absolutely mind-blowing number in itself and a legitimate concern for everything else, what does that have to do with me? What does that have to do with Sweet Hive? Well, like I said earlier, it's the main ingredient of my vanilla syrup, which is, by the way, the reason I talk about that one is it's the most expensive one that I make. Well, why is it so expensive? Well, 2 of the 3 bees that naturally pollinate the flower, the orchid flower in which it comes from, are endangered, and 1 is extinct. And of course, that's a concern in itself, but how does that have to do with me? So right now, all those orchid flowers are hand-pollinated. That's a lot of labor power. That paired with the recent demand increase in the last 8 years, 18% in increase in demand for vanilla beans itself, you get a really expensive product. Well, how do I buy it cheaply? Well, wholesale. When I buy wholesale, I'm able to buy these vanilla beans for $1.63, 22 of which, by the way, go in 1 gallon of syrup. That's a lot of money, but it's much cheaper if you do it wholesale. So who wants to buy these sort of things? Who wants to buy syrups for their coffee? Well, besides the obvious that most people in this room probably have had a cup of coffee today, of course, me as well, who would like to buy some sort of syrups? Well, the average 18 to 25 age demographic, 50%, will consume 1 cup of coffee a day. Similarly, 25 to 40 age range will consume 1 cup of coffee a day as well, 63% to be exact, roughly. And on top of that, 30% of both of those demographics will have 1 more cup of coffee. It's a lot harder when you can't see the time.
Corey, great job.
Thank you.
So are you able to tell us who you're currently partnering with?
I'm not partnering with anyone.
Okay.
I'm independent, but I work out of a shop, and they have 5% stake in the company while I am using their facility.
Great. One of your goals is to expand. Who would be
Absolutely.
some ideal partners that you would like to see yourself working with?
Sure,
in the near
definitely. I don't
future?
have anyone in particular. I wouldn't say like a name of a coffee shop, but definitely more of the smaller kind of independent coffee shops. Definitely not on the corporate side, at least right now, because they're really not the type to be looking for smaller companies to grow with, sort of thing.
Great. Thank you.
Hi. So your passion is coffee.
Sure, yeah.
And I feel you. But I'm just wondering, as far as thinking to the future, can your products be used in other beverages? So,
Absolutely, yes. And
tea
actually,
and
that
other
was
things?
yeah. I'm so sorry to cut you
No,
off
you're good.
there. Absolutely. Right now, it's more about the focus of coffee, but there's definitely a plan, probably within the 5 years, to expand onto the bar scene because there's more savory syrups like rosemary syrups, thyme type of herb syrups and infusions that the bar scene would definitely benefit off of, and I absolutely have that in my plan. Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't expect so many questions. I don't know if that's a bad thing.
No, it's good. Corey, you talked a little bit about the fact that your product is natural.
Yes, sir.
I think that's very important. I think that's a trend that's going to continue to grow as people like to eat and drink cleanly.
Yes.
The challenge with that is that I think that there's a lot of competition that could be in that space. Are
Okay.
you aware of any competitors that are doing a similar thing to what you're doing?
Not at least locally, definitely not locally, and that is the focus for now. But as far as internationally, there are 5 companies, and I could list them if you'd like, 5 companies that specifically target this market, the syrup, the at-home buyer who drinks like drip coffee or regular coffee with syrups. There is one company called 803 Syrups that they do a little more artisanal things, but they still use a lot of preservatives in their syrups. So not that I'm aware of right now at this moment, but definitely not locally. I can definitely say that.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you, everyone.
Hopefully someday we won't have to do this. Our next presenter, Dustin Payton, and his business, Private First Class Apothecary and Services, LLC. Dustin.
Hi, how y'all doing? My name is Dustin Payton. I'm the CEO and founder of Private First Class Apothecary and Services. I'd like to thank you all for coming to Parkland's 2020 second annual CobraVenture competition. I'm a combat veteran. I'm a self-execution survivor, and I suffer from PTSD. When I was in basic training, we were final graduation of a ruck march, and we were climbing the final hill after 3 weeks of in-field training. There were soldiers lined up on either side of us, clapping for us and encouraging us and motivating us to continue on and to finish this last little bit. I was exhausted, my feet were bleeding, my blisters were draining. But that's not what got me through this moment wasn't my speech, obviously, but it wasn't fancy gear, and it wasn't some strength-enhancing chemical. It was the soldiers to my left and to my right, and the ones that led and the one that followed. They encouraged me and pushed me through. They strengthened me, and they believed in me, and it helped get all of us through. And then one soldier even said, "I'll be where you are next." At that time, I was excited. I encouraged another soldier. I gave back. But after I returned home and went through homelessness, addiction, self-execution attempts, I started to feel concerned for that young soldier. He said, "I will be where you are next." I don't want to see any past, current, or future veteran have to go through what I've been through, or what I have, what I've been through and have gone through. And this is how I plan to do this with my business. Once recreational marijuana was legalized, medical cannabis patients have had difficulty in buying certain strains to help give them relief from their symptoms. And the other veterans who have experienced this. Through my business, I will be providing patients with a mobile apothecary service that allows my customers not to own their own hydroponic systems that I designed myself, that will allow them the opportunity to grow quality product in their own homes during COVID or during shortages, or just, Current pricing for 14 grams of cannabis at a dispensary is $176.90, which for most users will equal out to be $885 a month, which equates out to be $10,620 a year. So that's a lot of money just for medication. Through my business, by using our hydroponic system, which includes LED lighting and our preferred methodologies, we will be able to provide a yield of 42 ounces per plant, and a total for 5 plants per house, which is the legal limit for Illinois, producing an estimate of 5,950 grams, which converts to 5 pounds a year. Our hydroponic system units will cost $1,200 with financing options. There will be a $75 monthly service fee for the units to keep the equipment up to date. Our clients invest $2,100 a year, or for the first year, which equates to a saving for them to be $8,520 the first year, and $9,720 for each additional year after that. Our target market will be the medical patients who legally can grow up to 5 plants per state law. Currently, there are a total of 64,737 medical patients in Illinois alone that could use our services. In my research, I have found little to no information on any other company doing this, or having the business structure that we have. We provide hands-on growing methods, lifetime warranties of our systems, and replacement parts if required. We will provide quarterly reports on the growth and the progress of each plant for the customer. For me, some of my family growing up, they used it to treat their depression or whatever medical issues they had. 2 to 3 generations back, my family have been growing cannabis for that amount of time. Not legally, of course. And I can say that because they're gone now, so no repercussions. But with that, I use medical cannabis for my issues. I have the growth knowledge from my generational experiences. I farmed and I cultivate most of my whole life, starting at 12, doing corn and tobacco and hay. So pretty much relatively the same thing, but with a little bit more science behind it. In conclusion, my business will not only save you money, provide you with your medication needs, but will also support the mental health of fellow veterans. According to Plant Life Balance ambassador and researcher Dr. Dominic Keyes, he states the human brain developed while surrounded by nature and being immersed in nature is good for us.
Dustin, thank you for your service.
My pleasure.
Great idea, great business plan. What would be a competitive advantage that you feel that you have? And then what would be an obstacle that you feel that you might foresee in your near future as you're growing your business?
Could you repeat that, please?
Sure. If you could talk about an advantage that you feel that you have in this industry, and then maybe an obstacle that you would foresee that, and maybe some strategy about overcoming that.
Well, my experience based off of years of experimenting and understanding and reading up about medical cannabis, or any form of cannabis for that matter. You know, most people grow up with farming in their blood, from corn to hay. Mine was cannabis. With the other veterans, you know, there's an instant connection, there's an instant trust. So it's going to be a repeat customer basis, and they're going to allow for us to provide them not only with cannabis and a hydroponic system and services, but also having them be able to look forward to actually having somebody to come in, check on them, say hi, see how they're doing. And a lot of people don't get that.
Great. I love that it's not only a product, but also your service. That's wonderful. What might be an obstacle that you would perhaps foresee, or a challenge that might be in your way?
Legalities. Anybody could, you know, pass a bill or something saying that you'd have to have certain licenses for this. Well, this part of the company is paying for craft grow and cultivation license for our next 5-year future. So right now, like, legally, we're fine. There's no problems. We can go forward with no hindrance unless something changes. And there's always that uncertainty. So we got to be adaptable. We got to improvise, and we got to be on our toes. Because if something does happen like that, we have to be able to move quick.
Great. Excellent. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you for your service, and also your willingness to share your story. I think it's really impactful and will obviously help others. So this is kind of one of those areas where people still have a lot of questions about how it works and what they should do. So for all of your customers, I imagine that they might have a lot more maybe customer service calls coming your way than other companies might. What would be your plan to handle those customer service calls between you and your team?
Well, we'd be doing a 24/7 online help, which we can alternate, because some of us don't sleep at night. Others of us wake up early during the day. So our schedules are all different, all broad. So we can always provide somebody service and information on what's going on. For me, I'm a visual learner, so pictures. So like, you take a picture with your phone, you send it to us, we can automatically identify and correct the issue. We can have a service team, which is called the Canna Squad, out there within the hour, preferably. And then, well, I'm always available too.
Great, thank you.
Dustin, tell me a little bit about your revenue model. You know, obviously, if you're going to have materials you're providing, the product, traveling, service, online help, you know, all those expenses add up. And I like the fact that you have a continuing revenue model with the $75 a month fee. But what would your gross profit margins look like at that $75 per month?
It'll be $900 per person, so per customer. So we're, you know, being realistic, there's 64,747 customer bases. Probably 20,000 of them want to do it themselves, do it at home. The other 30,000 would probably go ahead and purchase another unit. So, you know, we say we have 25,000 customers just in the next 2 years or 3. So we'd be looking around, like, I don't know, I can't do math that big. But a pretty high number, which we plan to use to get the craft grow license and keep moving forward, and franchise to 7 other states that have a Series LLC business structure, and also a medical cannabis policy.
Once you get the product in-house, how much work does it take for somebody to maintain it?
Well, we'd be doing all the maintenance and maintaining the system, so we'd have timers set so you don't have to have any worry, because you can just relax. The whole point is that comfort, that stress-free environment. So we would come in, or we'll email like, hey, checking on them systems. The timer's off a little bit. We'll have somebody come over. But basically what it is it's 15-gallon tank with 5 plants with our own specially designed nutrients for the plants. And then it's a box. I mean, it's more complicated than that, but I don't want to get into too many details. But for maintenance, repairs, or any of that, it's just a transplant out of the box. We just change out the box, no problem. We change out the water every 3 days. We change and check the pH balance for the acidity and to make sure that we are not overcooking or chemical burning the plants. So as far as what the customer would actually have to do is all they have to do is watch their plants grow and then watch them cure and dry and then enjoy it and relax.
Sounds easy.
That's it. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Quick learners, they know they're going to get called next. This is good. Our next presenter, Naya Bland, and her business, Just My Confidence. Naya. Oh, she's got to get her camera.
Did you know that 4 out of 5 women have low self-esteem? Also, did you know that 75% of girls who have low self-esteem reported engaging in negative activities such as cutting, bullying, or smoking? Before I get further into detail, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Naya Bland, and I will be pitching my life coaching brand, Just My Confidence. My mission is to inspire and empower women across the globe to build their confidence and self-esteem. There's a lot of women who struggle with these issues, and honestly, it's very disturbing to me. Throughout my research, I have found that 85% of people have low self-esteem. And if I did the math correctly, that's only 15% of people who truly believe in themselves. I also found that low self-esteem creates stress. It impairs academic and job performance, and also increases the chances of depression. Therefore, Just My Confidence will serve women aged from 18 to 26 years old who are ambitious, who are driven, and who are ready to release negative burdens in order to obtain the luxury lifestyle that they deserve. I plan to launch my business as soon as possible, since I can launch it from the comforts of my own home. It will keep down the cost, and it will also create more room for me to generate passive income. Why? Why do I feel like I can empower women, inspire? What makes me special? So growing up, obviously I'm an African American woman. My grandmother and my family have always told me to walk with my head held high. And also that I can do anything that I set my mind to do. And I stood by that. This has resulted into me growing into a confident young lady. And I honestly want to instill this into other women. Also, throughout this process, I've done a lot of soul searching. This included reading books, listening to podcasts, attending online seminars. I found my purpose, and that's to inspire women. I've done this my whole life naturally without even trying, and my brand will allow me to do just that. So, Just My Confidence will utilize major social media platforms, for instance, YouTube. Within a year's time, I hope to gain 1,000 followers and 4,000 watch time hours, which Google Ad will monetize my channel. Also, I'll be launching a podcast. My goal is to allow multiple women from all across the globe to tune in to hear what I have to say. From that point on, companies will reach out to me for me to sponsor them on my podcast, whether it's a product, service, etc. With this money that I'm rewarded tonight, this will allow me to build a website. As my influence grows, more opportunity lies ahead. This will allow me to have a link on my channel, or my website, where different institutions or events can reach out to me for speaking engagements. Also, I will provide one-on-one consultation for my girls, and we can have girl talks. We could talk about romance, we can talk about financial advising, and we could talk about career. Also, ultimately down the road, I hope to create a handbook where institutions will come to me to buy my product in order for my product to be instilled in different schools across the globe. So when they grow up to be adults like you and I in this room, they will already have that confidence in them that they can do whatever they want in life. So before I end, I just want to allow you to hear me out. And I also want to ask you to pick me, help others to impact the world so we can do it together. Thank you for listening, and I hope everyone has a nice night. Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
So do you mind addressing kind of if you have any, what competitors currently exist and how you might differentiate yourself from them?
Yes. So I've actually was introduced to one, but she mentored little girls. They just had like different programs. So it'd be like a 6-month program. Girls come and they'll do different activities together. They'll say affirmations and etc. I found a few online as well. Advisor Val and Female Lead. They do similar things, programs. I feel like mines are different because I feel like a lot of people, they just show the result. They show the outcome. They don't show the growth. They don't show the process. Like on Instagram, you go, people are traveling, they're doing trips, you know, they have all this money, but they don't show the process that they went through in order to get there. And I feel like that's what my brand will emphasize on, growth. You will see my process, you know. I'm better than I was last year, and I'll continue to grow, and my audience will see that. Just like my friends and my family, they're like, oh girl, what you doing? I'm like, I'm doing a lot of soul searching. But yes, that's what will differentiate me. It's my growth, and you'll be able to see that through my brand.
Great. My other question was, because you mentioned that you were going to focus on 18 to 26-year-olds, I believe. If in all of your research that you did, like why you chose that particular age group for your business?
So I chose that because I feel like, you know, you're coming out of high school and then you have this big decision to make, what you want to do with your life. And I feel like my brand is a representation of me. And that's around the age group I am in. And I know how it feels to like make that major decision. Like, what do I want to do? What am I good at? What do I want to build on? So I feel like I know a lot of people around that age are still kind of stuck. Because when you get to a certain age, you feel like you should have it all together. So I'm there to tell you, like, I'm going through it. I've did the work, and I'm here to help you do the work as well. So.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Great presentation. I think that absolutely women need strong role models, and I like your concept of providing peer support. It sounds like you're addressing the same age demographic that you're in. A little bit of a follow-up to Carly's question, really what makes you a bit different, or what makes you stand out? What would make me click on your link or go to your page? What would be some things that you think make you stand out from all the other influencers out there?
I think what makes me stand out is the passion that I give. I feel like a lot of people, they do a lot of things for money. I'm truly passionate. I'm not looking at it for the money, which of course, who don't want money, but I'm passionate. This is something that I'm passionate about. And I feel like me naturally, this is, like I said, this is my purpose. So I feel like that will kind of vibrate, and you'll kind of get that just from me when you see me, is you'll feel the passion. You'll feel that, okay, she actually stands what she's for. So I feel like that's what would make me different. Like I said, I'll show the transparency as well. It's all about love and transparency and growth.
Great.
So.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
So I see kind of two different parts of your business. There's the influencer model, which you talked about, you know, being on YouTube and Instagram and making money through your website and Google Ads. I think that's tough just because, you know, as the other judges were saying, how can you set yourself apart at such a competitive space? One thing to think about, though, is the counseling side of things. You know, I think that what you're looking at and the need that you're trying to fill is a great one. I think social media has really brought on esteem issues with a lot of young folks, and so I really like your mission. It might be worth looking into different avenues of funding, whether that be through federal or state grants to help push your mission along that lines. I think that might be a little easier avenue than trying to go through the Instagram social media route, but something to think about. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our final presentation this evening is Elliot Graham and his business, the Wood Violet Greenhouse. Elliot.
All right, we ready? Rock and roll. All right, good evening, fellow cohorts, judges, and to the millions watching at home. My name is Elliot Graham, and I am the owner-operator of the Wood Violet Greenhouse. The Wood Violet Greenhouse will provide plants and material for people who are apartment, condo, and small space dwellers. Our goal is to aid in that Instagram-worthy balcony. The Wood Violet Greenhouse will work from the food truck-based idea that we will bring products right to your building and help curate a comfortable and livable outdoor space. An interior designer for the outdoors, the Wood Violet Greenhouse will help you choose the right plant for your small space. Now we will have a menu of options. Do you want fresh mojitos in July? We'll have mint. Do you want the zoodles for that low-carb diet? We'll have the vegetables for that. Do you want to make your Instagram followers green with envy with those morning selfies? Boom, we'll have the succulents to fill that space. Now our clientele are small space dwellers, which include long-term apartment renters and owners, elderly and assisted living facilities, and short-term apartment tenants. Our specific target audience will be educated young adults with a household income of $75,000 or more. We want to grab the attention of this crowd early on so we can nurture this relationship as they move out and start buying homes and building their own backyard paradise. This provides opportunities for the Wood Violet to expand and ensures company sustainability. Now think about the last apartment building you walked by. What do you see on patios or balconies? A chair, a grill, some dirty tongs, and a sad, sad little plant. The problem most small space dwellers face is that they have no one catering to their outdoor living needs. How do I transform this balcony into an outdoor oasis? What plants are good for this space? What plants work well together? And better yet, how do I keep them alive? These are the questions, and the Wood Violet is the answer. Now our business will solve this problem by providing a professional small space gardening service. Realizing apartment and condo dwellers in urban areas may not own cars or may be limited in their mobility, the Wood Violet will bring the traditional greenhouse experience to our clients and help them transform their dark little corner into a lush jungle paradise. We will listen to our clients' needs, assess their space, curate a design, and implement that custom idea onto their balcony or patio. Additionally, we will provide the resources and the know-how to help foster the green thumb in any of our clients. Now, there are a few competitors in this niche market. Landscape designers typically seek out large projects with big commissions. Boutique plant stores sell plants, but one at a time. Big box stores also carry plants, but they offer little guidance. The Wood Violet Greenhouse plans on filling this unique void. COVID changed everything about 2020. While many industries shrunk as much as 35%, including restaurants, bars, travel, clothing, some industries grew, Home and gardening grew by 8% when compared to 2019. And personally, from working in the industry at a local nursery, I believe that number to be much, much higher. COVID inspired people to invest in their homes and gardens and create spaces that they wanted to live, work, learn, and of course, host Zoom happy hours from. The reality is, we may not flock to restaurants, concerts, and crowded museums like we did before, and creating comfortable spaces at home where it is safe will continue to be a priority. Now, the Wood Violet is currently working with Land Connection here in Champaign to find a small acreage to lease for my business. I project my first year's investment before land cost will range from $8,000 to $10,000. This will include the purchase of a mobile unit, such as a box truck or cargo van, and all the additional materials and tools necessary for the trade. We will start small, reinvesting capital and establishing a solid line of credit, all while keeping our overhead low. This is only a stepping stone to a much more ambitious future. The mobile unit will grow a devoted following and provide unique opportunities for marketing. When it's financially viable, the ultimate goal is to grow the Wood Violet Greenhouse into a garden center, a brick-and-mortar location that will provide products and experiences to our devoted clients, all while still incorporating our mobile unit. I want to take a few seconds here to say thank you to everybody involved with CobraVenture. I'm proud of every single one of you guys that were in CobraVenture with me. I look forward to this crop of entrepreneurship here in Champaign-Urbana. I want to take a second to thank Mark for putting this all together. Thank you for accepting me into CobraVenture. Thank you so much. You are a gentleman and a scholar, and I am a better person since I have met you. Thank you to all of our judges this evening, and thank you to our sponsor.
Good job. A couple of things. I know you mentioned where you work. So will that be your source until you make some acquisitions and are able to grow things on your own?
No. So that was an internship this previous summer. I'm kind of on a new career trajectory, so to speak. I was in procurement for a food and dairy industry and decided I didn't want to do that anymore. So I've taken the leap and I enrolled in classes here at Parkland. This is my last semester. I took 18 credits this semester. So I've been all in on school, and once that is over, I can finally really put myself fully immersed into this idea.
Awesome. Well, congrats on taking that leap. My other thing is, you know, just given, and this was great that you pointed this out, just the attention that people are giving their homes now that they're in them and will be for the foreseeable future. How do you plan to overcome just the safety concerns that your customers might have for coming into their home and helping them with this process?
I believe like there are a lot of protocols in place right now to ensure safety. There's definitely social distancing and wearing a mask and making sure that everything you touch is clean. And I don't see how that would be any different. We would be meeting outside, and I would, you're assessing a space basically that's, no more than 6 foot by 8 foot at any given time. So what you really want to do, it's just like what a landscape designer and interior designer does. You get to know the client, you get to know what they want. And really it's just a matter of asking enough questions to find out what their likes and dislikes are, and then drawing up that design and implementing it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent presentation. And you have a great voice for radio if you ever needed to do some of your own marketing.
Yeah, my father was in radio for many, many years, so maybe that's what's wrong.
There you go. Can you tell me a little bit about the name of your company, the Wood Violet, where that came from?
The Wood Violet is the state flower of Wisconsin. I'm from Wisconsin.
There you go. Are you looking to grow this here in Champaign, or are you looking to expand in other areas?
Right now, just Champaign. The idea started really because I wanted to open a greenhouse and open a garden center, but you don't just get to go into a bank and say, I've got this great idea, I need $4 million. So I wanted to start something.
Right.
Right. I wanted to start small, and I felt like by doing this and establishing a line of credit to say in a few years' time to say, this is what I have so far, and this is what I want to do in the future, would hopefully give me some more solid back.
I really like the mobile truck idea. I think that's really fun. You can get some great branding and some great exposure there. Being apartment dwellers, I'm sure people look out the window and want to know what their neighbors are See your van outside and then a beautiful patio. So congratulations, great job.
Thank you.
All right, being the money guy, I have to ask about money.
Of course.
So tell me a little bit about how you're going to make your money. So obviously the margin from selling the plants, and then you talked about helping servicing, ongoing servicing. Is there going to be a monthly fee for your clients, or how's that going to work out?
Is necessarily as a monthly fee. Yeah, the margins are going to be a little bit smaller, but if I only have to invest a small amount on a small piece of land to lease in the beginning, grow plants, I mean, you can buy a plant plug, which is basically what you see that goes into every pot and every annual that you see. You buy those for around anywhere from 15 to 35 cents a piece. So depending on how, the more you buy, obviously that brings the cost down. If I want to buy more, I have to buy more land. So right now, I just need a small amount of land to get this idea off the ground, to get this truck out there, and to get my name out there. Does that kind of answer it? Or
Yeah, it does, absolutely.
Okay.
It's a great idea, thank you.
Sometimes I ramble. So
No,
I
no,
want
very
to try
good.
to keep it succinct.
Just to follow up to that question, what would be kind of the price range of your average projects that you would be looking to do for an apartment dweller?
And that's the best thing. These prices could range anywhere from just, a simple, well, you only have this space, you get this amount of light. Really, all you're going to need is boom, 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 3 separate things. You might just need 1 tropical plant. And honestly, it could just be just a picture here, and people are going to go, that's it. And I'll be like, yeah, that's it. And they could range anywhere from, $50 to $200. But the idea is to keep costs low, keep getting your foot in the door time and time and time again.
Great, thank you.
It's now time for the judges to move, and I think they're going to follow. Are they going to follow you, Jess? Okay. Do they take their computers with? Okay, bring your computers with you, and I think you're going to exit out up the stairs over here. And then while they're gone, to the viewing audience, we have a video that we're going to show you of our students this past year.
My business is called Paulas, that's P-A-W-L-Y-S, and it is a professional pet stylist salon. With my business, I hope to change the world of grooming. I don't want your pet to be scared to go to the groomers or shake when you leave.
And I really like doing this finished carpentry thing. And so I started doing it for friends and family and building different things around my house. And it just kind of grew from there. And I thought, wow, it'd be really cool if I could basically continue what I'm doing as a hobby now. And if I could turn this into a business and do it full time. And you know what they always say, if you love what you're doing, then you're never going to work a day in your life.
So my business is to take my gas guzzling 50, 60-year-old car and convert it to completely electric. Hopefully that will ensure that in the future, my vehicles won't end up sitting in someone's garage just rotting away, or worse, in a scrapyard.
What I want to do is build hydroponic systems and sell them to the VA as medical equipment for returning veterans and current veterans who are using cannabis as a medication source, so they can grow their own at home.
My idea is to open a small business that is going to concentrate on bringing small space sustainable gardening to people that live in apartment buildings or their home. What I'd like to do with this is bring everything that they would need in a smaller truck and provide this so that they can build a little garden on their balcony or on their deck, on their porch, wherever it may be, so they can grow their own produce, they can grow flowers or anything else that they want, but this product will be brought directly to them.
Sweet Hive kind of developed out of an idea that I've had on and off for the last about 5 years. I've been in coffee for about 9 years now, and one of the things that always bugged me, I think, over everything else, because coffee is just this strive for better kind of culture and develop things that taste better and ultimately bring the customer experience, a lot higher. One of the things that kind of bugged me is that if I ever wanted a good quality vanilla or good quality syrup, I could never achieve that by just purchasing one off of the internet, Amazon, or any other coffee shop that's in town. So
My idea is to inspire women across the globe to build their confidence. I will do this by utilizing different platforms as far as YouTube, podcasts, books, speaking engagements, etc. Long term, I do want to establish a handbook where I get to schools so they can instill confidence in children, so when they grow up to be women like me or men, that they all already have the confidence to accomplish the things that they were meant to be.
So before I became a groomer, finding a good groomer for my dog was very hard to do. I was super worried. I was super worried about how they would treat her and if she would have fun or if she would just be locked in a cage all day or she'd be super scared. So when I became a groomer, I made sure to do all of the things that I wish my groomer would have done.
I've gotten a lot better. I did have a knack for it. I've just always been good working with my hands, and I just, love being outside and just working with everything. And so, yeah, I had a knack for it, but slowly I've honed my craft, and I've gotten significantly better over time.
It's going really well. I've learned that there's a couple of companies that have been doing this for a couple of years now, and they're wildly successful. They've got more business than they can handle. So I've learned that there's room in the market for this. Things are being developed. In fact, one of the companies just came out with a Tesla engine design that you just order it from them. They ship it to you. You take out the old engine, put that engine in, and you're good to go.
Well, I use cannabis to medicate for my PTSD, and once the law passed January 1st of this year that patients can grow 5 plants for themselves, I started to customize a hydroponic system on paper, and I'm going to try to outsource it to a medical company or a manufacturing company out of recycled plastics. So all just kind of fell together.
I noticed that more and more people want that Instagram quality balcony, or they want that photo quality spot, and they want that little zen area on their own, but they have a hard time making it. They have a hard time getting access to all the good product, and it's overwhelming. What the problem is that they go to a larger scale nursery or they go to a large scale greenhouse and they kind of don't know where to begin. So if I can come in and provide these products and say, well, you've got about this much sunlight, and if you want to put in this much time to it, you can have this kind of green, lush space.
kind of just decided to mess around with it in my kitchen one day. A simple vanilla kind of thing, and I kind of took a second and realized it was really good, and that, hey, I kind of have a business mind, and maybe I can run with it someday. So here we are. I kind of developed recipes and things for all of the more common syrups you would find in coffee shops, like the vanillas, the hazelnuts, the caramels. But
by heart, I'm a humanitarian. I really love to serve people. I love to make people feel good. A lot of people come to me with advice, and a lot of people tell me that I'm very confident, and they admire that about me. So I just feel like as though I'm here. I feel like it's a purpose for me. I feel like it's a purpose project. So yeah, it's important to me because I feel like it's my purpose, and to help women to feel beautiful, and so they can accomplish the things that they want to accomplish.
Every dog that has come through my door has left absolutely so happy, and I'm not just saying that. They really have. I've actually been known to take dogs that are very timid and very scared, that usually hate grooming, and by the time they leave, they're playing with toys and completely happy and running up to me, letting me pet them, and they're so happy.
I did a bunch of research when I really got into it, always watching YouTube videos and different people and learning different techniques and learning different materials and how you can, take one tool and it might have a lot of uses, and then another, so I started slowly acquiring tools and different things that I needed to hone my craft and get better and be able to build stuff.
Well, the biggest challenge is going to be the financial aspect of it. I figure it's going to take about $50,000 for me to get my business started. The plan is to convert one of the cars that I have into all electric, and then go around, spend some time next summer going around to the car show circuits and showing off my product. So the obstacle is the money up front and the time it's going to take to get customers.
California is like one of the biggest competitors, and they're coming from the West Coast, and now they're in the Midwest. So I feel like there's been enough research done from the West Coast companies that we can start off Midwest and move over to the East Coast. So it won't just be hydroponic systems, but it also be craft growing. So we'll also be doing 10,000 square feet of growing medical cannabis for patients and delivering them to different dispensaries as well.
It's going to be everything. Like if you really just want to make, like you said, like some herbs, or if you just want vegetables, or you can do both, and that's really what I'm going to try to encourage, because you can make this without a lot of investment and without a lot of time investment. You can really make this your own and however you want it. If you want to grow tomatoes and zinnias, we're going to make a plan for that, and we're going to make sure that grows on your porch.
Is vanilla beans is a global shortage, and it turns out that the shortage is caused by these bee populations that are decreasing because of the way we treat the environment. And I wanted to give back somehow and rehabilitate the bee colonies that are responsible for naturally pollinating the vanilla beans, the orchids that the vanilla beans come from. And so I named it Sweet Hive to communicate that message in a way.
So the biggest thing that I've learned was to be patient with things and to actually sit down and think about, the foundation of the business without, just having that this is something I want to do, but I really learned to just be patient with it, because this is something that I do want to have long term and to pass on to my kids and, generations. So just establishing a solid foundation.
The hardest part, I would say, is just being organized with all of finances, customers, all of the business stuff. CobraVenture has helped me do that.
Yeah, okay, tell me what the best part is.
The best part about Paulas is that I've been able to go completely full time, so I have a flexible schedule if needed, but I'm also super, super busy still. And I'm able to do things the way I want it. I want the best experience for my customers and for the pets, so I'm able to make sure that happens.
Ultimate goal, long term, I think I would really like to just be able to do it all and even move from just building furniture to just doing interior design. But right now I would just like to focus on building furniture. Basically, I'm just selling peace of mind to my customers is what I want to do. So I want people to be confident in the furniture that they have, and I want them to love the interior of their home and not have to settle for something that is just okay for their home.
The long-term vision is just to provide a service that people are wanting. I think I hear stories all the time of people in my demographic who have these cars and they say, well, I'm just going to give it to my kids, and they talk to their kids, my kids don't want it. No one's going to want these things. So hopefully I can, provide a service that people will appreciate, and who knows, maybe you'll be on the road someday and you'll see a 1970 Grand Prix that's all electric as a vehicle.
Some of the older generation of my family, they've used it. My mom used it for her depression a lot when I was growing up, and I saw a lot of benefit from it. Coming back from Iraq, I've seen a lot of the other veterans get a lot of relief. We usually get a lot of pills pushed towards us. So we're finding a more natural alternative way to do it, which reduces suicide and also reduces the symptoms of other debilitating conditions.
It's going to be simple and straightforward, and like I said, I feel that people get overwhelmed very easily, but they want this product. There's a demand for this product. Through these months with businesses closing down and business slowing down, the nursery and the green industry specifically thrived. People wanted to change their landscape, they wanted to change their lawn, they wanted to buy houseplants because they're spending more time at home, and they wanted something that made them feel warm and comfortable.
I would love it to be larger to the point where people can realize that, there's more options for better quality out there than you realize. And I would like to the best of my ability, supply that and kind of, nourish that. At least just the mentality behind buying better and buying more quality, sustainable type of things,
I want to train women across the globe. So we have different speaking engagement, brunches, conferences, I just want it to be big. There's a company that I know that they have, it's called a boss brunch. So every year they have like they get a group of women and they go on these like retreats, business retreats, and they have brunch, they meditate, they, talk about business, they exercise together. I just want it to be a community of well-established, ambitious women.
Yes, I love grooming dogs. I love meeting new dogs, meeting new customers. Yeah, it's fun to play with them.
Everybody is looking for that one thing. The hip thing right now is you want to get this cool side table that you saw on Pinterest or wherever on the internet, and you say, wow, this is what really sets my house apart. And you want to show it off, And so I really want to bring that light into people's homes and being able to give them that custom piece that, not every home's the same. And so you got to make that one piece that really fits in their house perfectly.
It's very early in the process. I submitted this business idea to Mark for CobraVenture. I didn't really know what kind of response it was going to get because it was a little more pie in the sky. I'm taking heavy class loads at Parkland because I wanted to change my career. So I went into horticulture and I had this idea. I didn't know if it was sound, but with CobraVenture, I really feel like I've gotten my footing on what I need to do and how I can make this business grow.
If I'm in coffee and I produce coffee syrups, or I produce whatever I'm involved in with coffee, there's a lot of take and not a lot of give. And it sounds really cliche, but but I'm very serious about it. And Sweet Hive, the name, it comes from that want.
Mentally, I've really changed mentally. I've really grown and I've really, just matured a lot. I feel as though I've grown a lot in 2019, working and going to school and just taking care of myself. It kind of forced me to, mature and become the woman that I want to be. It's a consistent thing, but I just feel like that's been a challenge of just me just really growing into the woman that I want to be, and I feel like I'm getting there. So,
Final goal, I would like to reduce suicide. Instead of 22 a day, I'd like to at least see 10. I'd also like to see a lot of other patients and veterans actually find some peace. Maybe leave the war over there and come home to something different. Maybe I don't know, just find that spark again in their life.
Beginning when I started CobraVenture, insurance wasn't even on my mind. I didn't even think about it. In one of the second CobraVenture meeting we had an insurance advisor come in and talk to us, and just the next day I signed up for insurance, and it was probably one of the best things I did because it has covered me since that point and has made me feel very safe.
Going into CobraVenture, I didn't really know what to expect, and I didn't know what I was going to learn and how fast-paced it was going to be and how much of a time commitment it was going to be. They're like, oh, it's going to be 2 hours on a Thursday night. And I was like, all right, I can do that. But once I got into it, you can't spend enough time at these meetings. The 2 hours just goes by so fast. You just want to be there all night. And with all the people that they bring in, and they're telling you all about, well, this is how I started my business, or you get to talk to bankers, or you get to talk to lawyers. They just bring a whole new perspective on starting your business.
CobraVenture has been just a wonderful asset, a wonderful resource. We get to sit in presentations focusing on business law and business finance, identifying our customers, and kind of focusing what is our business really set to do. Those presentations have been just wonderful. Even more important than that, though, I've always tried to be really independent, do things on my own and pull myself up by my bootstraps. And what I've learned over the years is that comes in really handy when times are bad. If I got to get by and there's just no friends out there, or business is bad and the economy's bad and there's just no resources for me, having that independent spirit and that strength is a wonderful quality to have. But if I want to thrive, especially in the business world, I need collaboration, I need cooperation, I need customers, I need to work with other people. And that's really the big asset that CobraVenture offers.
This program actually cuts off a lot of the learning curve. and it fills in a lot of the gaps. So what I was trying to learn through like online research, books at the library, you know, there's a plethora of different sources out there for this knowledge. Mark Chagnon, CobraVenture, it pinpoints it down to, hey, these are your steps you want to take for the first parts of it. But I mean, it's still the due diligence on myself and the other CobraVenture cohorts to still do the research and still do the legwork.
And it's opened so many doors. I think that's the phrasing that I would use. Just the amount of people I've been able to meet, talk to, network with, so on and so forth has been fantastic. And I've learned so much in just the 6 months that I've been here, and met some really fantastic people too. So
I really enjoy learning, so I love coming. I haven't missed a workshop yet, so it's been really good, just learning and just meeting new people. I followed a few people on Instagram and they follow me back, so I'm happy about that. So yeah, I've just been networking and meeting people that'll, you know, things come up and I'll be like, oh, I know this person that does this, I know this person that does that. So just building that network around me in this city is just, it's amazing.
If you are looking to start a business, or if you have started a business, you need to sign up for CobraVenture and at least apply, because it is well worth your time, and it has led me to many great things, and wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm forever grateful.
If you're interested in CobraVenture, 100% do it. In these meetings, it's not just about starting a business. I mean, you make connections and you build life skills that can go into so much more about your life. And they just overall, you learn so much. It's invaluable knowledge. And if you're even the slightest bit interested in starting a business, then 100% do CobraVenture, just because the people that you meet, it'll change the way you see things.
Everyone's very supportive of everybody else. Everyone in there has a good idea, and I think, yeah, that's good. Get that going, and I'll go there. I'll go to your business, and I'll support your business. It's really a friendly, supportive environment.
I believe personally that it's just a blessing. Like, there's no way that anybody else, or there's no way that I could have ever just moved here and just have all this stuff fall into place, and all the encouragement and the support, all the resources, all the people just, you know, rooting me on. I mean, you would think, like, you know, me being here by myself, I wouldn't have that, but I have the whole community, I have the whole Parkland College, and I have some of the people here. I mean,
oh, you miss every shot you don't take, right? So at least apply and go through the process, and don't cut yourself short on the business idea either. I mean, there's probably something in it, so see if someone else sees in it, you know? So go for it. That's what I would say.
And if you have this idea, if you're passionate about something and you want this to happen for yourself, you can do it. I certainly believe that. Mark is a great coach. I mean, he's a great person, a great human being, and he will encourage anybody. He is a leader amongst men, you know, a leader in our community, and I think we are all very fortunate to have him. We are very fortunate to have everybody involved in CobraVenture. It has been nothing but encouraging, and I would tell anybody, if you have any inkling, go talk to Mark. Even if you don't need to get into CobraVenture, it's worth a shot.
The time is here. I want to say congratulations to all of our contestants tonight, and your competition speeches were amazing, and the judges had a really hard time. I was really glad I wasn't sitting in their seats. So we are going to start with the participation awards, which are $300 each, and there are 3 of them. And we're going to announce each student's name. It's a random order for those 3. And the $300 is provided by Jordan Butts, Frank Ambrose, and Trenton Weaver of It's a Wrap Automotive. This $300 award is presented first to Nia Bland. So Nia, come up. Congratulations. You would like to say something?
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed my time here. I love everybody, and you.
The next participation award goes to Dustin Payton.
I want to say thank you all very much, first and foremost, for this honor and for this award. Whether it's first, fifth, last, whatever, it's still important to me because I got to share it with you guys. Have a good day.
And our third participation award goes to Corey Lehman.
Thank you for this award. I can't express how happy I am to be a part of CobraVenture and the entire process. Mark Shagnon, Mark Kessler, thank you so much. Great to see you. And everybody else, it's been a great time just being right there next to you and developing our businesses. So thank you.
Okay, so on to fourth place. So fourth place includes $500 from Brett Shaw, owner of Shaw's Premier Printing and Drywall, and a $250 technology award from BC Bank. Fourth place is presented to Jacob Conity.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you to anyone who's helped out with this, and it truly has been an honor to every other Thursday night, and then a 6-month gap, and then coming back together with all of you guys. Just, every time I left one of those workshops, I was more excited about my business than I was the day before, and so it's really pushed me to continue working and not give up on it. Thank you.
Congratulations. Third place, which includes $500 from Brett Shaw, owner of Shaw's Premier Painting and Drywall, and $250 technology award from BC Bank. And this award is presented to Scott Bochinsky.
Thank you all so much, Mark, everyone who's participated in the CobraVenture program, the sponsors, and of course my peers here in the front row. I hope you all get your businesses started so I can patronize all of them. This is a great program. Thank you.
Congratulations. All right, now we're down to the last two. So second place, which includes $1,000 from Charlie Ramshaw, president of Ram Clean Cleaning Services, a $500 technology award from BC Bank, and mentoring from UIUC Geese College of Business Action Learning Student Team. Second place goes to Polly Reynolds.
All I can really say is thank you. Also, the CobraVenture program has helped me. The information I learned from that, the knowledge I've gained from that, excels any prize possible. It was absolutely amazing, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So thank you guys, and I hope to use every single one of your businesses in the future. Thank you.
So that leaves us to first place, which includes $3,000 from Murray Wise and Associates, a $1,000 technology award from BC Bank, and mentoring from the University of Illinois Geese College of Business Action Learning Student Team. The 2020 Student Entrepreneur of the Year is Elliot Graham. Big check goes to you.
I don't know if this is going to fit in the Corolla.
I don't know what to say. Thank you. After what has been a tumultuous year for everybody, it feels good. It feels good to win one. So thank you very much. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. Thank you to everybody that went through this with me. Thank you for all the encouragement. Thank you to Parkland. Again, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark.
So last but not least, Stephanie Stewart is going to wrap up our program for this evening. Stephanie? I feel like the Zamboni machine. That's where we laughed.
Thank you, Tracy. She's got a great job. She gets to hand out all the money and put it in your hands. And if you could see me behind my mask, I'm just beaming ear to ear. We are so proud of you guys. We were really unsure, honestly, what this year would entail and if our students really would stick with it, because we know that a ton is happening. And we were so proud of our first cohort, and we are so proud of you all. You've just built on sort of what we learned from that first year, and you've absolutely blown us away. The judges had a really tough job. We were just so lucky to not be sitting in their shoes. But thank you so much, and we are so impressed, and we are so proud to add you to our network of CobraVenture businesses in the community, and to patronize every single one of your businesses and watch what they do in the future. And so I hope you'll take your prize from today. Everyone's walking away with something, and you'll put it towards your business, and you'll know that you have the support of Parkland College behind you. So congratulations. And with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up for this evening. Judges, thank you so much for doing this for our students, for the college, and for the community. And to our viewers at home, those that stuck through the deliberation, I know you were waiting on the edge of your seat. I got some text messages. Who's the winner? And so thank you for watching and tuning in, and thank you for watching the recording and the replay if you're watching on our YouTube channel later. And with that, we'll wrap up. So thank you. Have a good night.